Hello family, Ken Mills here once again with World of Comedy 5 Entertainment. So to give you the idea of what Unbiased is, we always see things on social media and also in the world where we wonder what is the thought process behind these idiotic things that people do. We're going to give an honest, unbiased opinion. So with that being said, we're going to cover several different topics. These topics will start from mental health, addiction, finance, incarceration, relationships. We're going to be truly unbiased this season. So remember, tune in at 8 p.m. Check us out on Boss Up Houston Network. Good evening, family. Ken Mills back here again. Fourth season of Unbiased is about to start here. Now, we took a quick break. Now, during that quick break, we did a lot of things, right? We traveled. We performed in Atlanta last week. We had a great time. We met some of the luminaries that were out there in the media perspective and also in business. But we just took a lot of time to recalibrate. So, I mean, hey, I'm here, but I'm here a little bit differently. So we're not going to belabor the fact. I'm newly single. So this show is going to be about a specific topic, a great topic that we're going to call out love and marriage and divorce in 2022. So for short, we'll call it Md2022. So the reason why I say Md2022, because I remember when I was young, the first thing that I wanted to do, because I seen all my older cousins, they were drinking this Md2020. They had like this grape one, then they had a banana red, then they had a lemon lime one. And every time they'd drink it, they'd jam their little Easy E and they'd be just live. I say, man, I want to try that. But when you tried it, it was good going down. It tasted real fruity and everything. But when you sat back for about an hour, it was hell coming up. You were throwing up and you was sad, you was sick all over. So that's kind of my experience on relationships. I'm not here to try to knock your situation with relationships, but I just want to paint a picture that most of us are seeing nowadays. Because, during COVID, a lot of things changed during COVID. You was in the house with somebody for 2 years straight. They couldn't put that mask on. They had to put the mask on outside, but they couldn't put that mask on inside the house. They had to be themselves. So did you really enjoy the person that you really learned that they were during this pandemic? We're going to talk about that, and also we're going to talk about the scene, and also I might give you a little details on other things, but hey, we're back here, unbiased, and when we come back from this quick commercial break, we'll have our two illustrious guests. You're now here rocking with us on Boss Up Houston Network. We'll be right back. So the two illustrious guests that I have on set with me today, I'll start with the left. Ladies first. We have Miss Titi Marie. She does relationship blogging. She's here to give that unique female perspective. And to my right, we have Brother Earl, Russian hitman number 1. Now, he come to you, he bring you the unadulterated truth. And we had to have him here so he can grace us with the knowledge and also with his presence. How you doing, brother?
Good, my dude, my good. Yeah.
A pleasure.
Yes, ma'am. So, I want to start off is, how does the dating scene look to y'all out here?
Ooh.
I told you, I think it got pee in it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a joke?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because no one's authentic. No one's real. Everyone's doing everything for a show.
Can you give me an example?
An example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's put it this way. You go on a date with a person, guy, female, and instead of engaging in conversation, they're on the phone. They're on their social media. It's like social media runs everything now.
So you think is the point of them getting adoration and adulation from others rather than the person in front of them. And also them maybe trying to portray a certain image.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's what I'm not going to lie to you. And I agree with you, Earl. I mean, the dating pool may have piss in it, but I think it has like one of those long ass turds, like
Yeah.
Mike Tyson type turds.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you used to be at Tidwell Park or Finnegan Park and you be swimming and one of them little nasty people, they did the turd in there and then you raise up and it's right there.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Because, I mean, some of the things that I'm seeing, like, okay, I'm not knocking nobody got children already, anything like that. But what I am seeing is that it is, it's an increase of people that got multiple children, parents, like, okay, they might got multiple baby daddies.
Right.
And they expect for you to come save the day because everybody else failed them.
Not all.
Not all?
Not all.
I'm not trying to make a generalization, but what I'm saying is that that is a great majority that I see out here. Because I'll tell you this.
Okay.
Anytime you're on social media and you're a man of any means, they look at that and they say, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to be in the mix, this, that, and the other. But they don't give you a chance to learn them. They immediately put their children up for on you, like, when you gonna take us out?
Upon them.
Yeah, when you gonna take us out?
I think that's backwards though, because with me, I don't even much introduce my kids to a woman unless we're gonna be exclusive.
Right.
You know, we dating shit. I'm just fucking you. The kids don't have nothing to do with it. I don't want my kids growing up being like, oh, daddy was a hoe when you think about it, because that girl we seen that came over for Thanksgiving, we ain't must see her no more. So now I don't believe in integrating or blending families fresh out the gate. I think the dating pool is just watered down because the generation now, they don't really have to hold conversations. You know, I had went on a few dates, and I think dating now I kind of enjoy it because, you know, text messaging, that's cool, but that can be interpreted a certain way, you know, according to how a person feel. They assume if you don't put the laughing emoji, then you might have been shooting a slug or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But when you go to sit down across from a person, you know what I'm saying, you get a chance to read body language, demeanor, facial expressions, everything. And I want to know, when I ask you a question, like even the response time through text, like I don't know if the bitch Googling the response or what. Like I need to know if she got a brain right now. You know what I'm saying? It ain't lost in transit. She got that brain with her right now. She's sitting with it. You know what I'm saying? So when I talk to a lady, they give me a chance to kind of do basically an interview to decide if you're going to get another interview. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody who interview for a position don't get hired. So I do look at the dating pool as it's inconsistencies out there. It's like people ain't dating with a goal in mind. They just dating for the sport of it. You know what I'm saying? So they just going on dates with it's gonna come at the expense of, you know what I'm saying, them benefiting from meals or being in the sections or anything. And like now, like if you go to the clubs, when dudes go to date a woman, everything is caught up in the physical. Like they just in the section, the music blasts, and they can't hold a conversation. She just with her phone making Insta stories and shit, and he just cool with having a pretty lady on his arm, and they just go fuck. And then you do that shit for so long, you really wake up one day like, man, I really don't like this motherfucker. Like we don't got nothing in common. Yeah. Then if we would have actually properly dated, like go have dinner, nothing physical actually take place, we hold conversation, do some old school shit, sit on the phone for a couple hours, getting to know a person. You know what I'm saying? I even much have to find out, like, now I'm concerned more of like, you know, like how was you raised? You know, you came from a single parent home, what you see, because we covered what we see every day. You know what I'm saying? And that'll let me know also, like, kind of possible what kind of trauma I'm gonna be dealing with, because everybody goes through trauma, everybody experiences trauma. So have you exactly how you unpack this trauma? You know what I'm saying? Like have you dealt with it? You know what I'm saying? Because if not, that shit gonna manifest in our relationship. You know what I'm saying? At first I didn't care about all that. I really didn't, you know, coming from a black community, we really didn't look at like trauma and therapy. That was some white people shit, just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Our parents didn't believe in going to talk to nobody, because the minute that you have to go talk to somebody for some help, they're kind of like saying that I can't fix it myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like I'm inadequate in this area. So black people speaking about therapies and therapists and therapy, like that was more of some white people shit. But I think everybody need therapy. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody experienced trauma. So now you get a chance to date. Me personally, if I get a chance to date, I like to sit down and have a conversation with a woman, and like I say, just get engaged in regular conversation without overextending myself. And meaning it's like I don't want to get too much into what I don't want to see, what I don't want to have going on in that. Because if the woman like you so much, or the man like the woman so much, they'll collate a representation and present that to you. And so the drawback on that is you fall in love with a false version of that person. And so when the real person start to emerge, you look at it as they bucking, or they're just tired of acting.
It's like
they
perception
just
and reality.
Yeah, it's just tired of playing a role. You know what I'm saying? So I do like to date and hold conversation without overextending myself so much about what I don't like, what I don't want to see being done, because I wouldn't want somebody to use that against me and collate, like I could say, an image and then present this to me because I like him, so I want to be in his good graces, so I'm at least act like I like these type of things, or I wouldn't dare do this here, but all the while, that's just a facade.
That's very true. That's very true because I've seen it play out with a multitude of folks. And also, what I've seen as well, social media, it almost is taking hold of the whole relations between male and female. So when you get this portrait or you get this facade, like you see people posting pictures all the time, and you see people going, traveling, doing things or whatever, and you sitting at home, or maybe it might be guys do it too. They look at it and they be like, hey, they look cool. That's relationship goals. That's not relationship goals. You cannot compare what they have going on from a picture to what you have going on in reality. Because behind that picture, that's a filter. Behind that filter, you know what you might be seeing? She might have cussed this man out the night before. He might be
seconds before.
Yeah, he might be broke. She might be footing the bill. He might be cheating on her. She might be cheating on him. They might got serious problems, but they'll smile for their camera. But you'll never know it. You'll never know it. That's where the facade come in. And I think with the black community, we always want to put up this blockage or this barrier to show that we're doing something successful all the time, that we never want to show failure. There's nothing wrong with showing failure. There's nothing wrong with showing that, hey, I might not be at my best right now. That's a vulnerability. But while we out here putting out this cap stuff, that's keeping the whole lie going on. And it's putting a false narrative out here. That's why you have so many people that rely on Kevin Samuels.
People like him.
They rely on him because he finally is getting the people to tell the truth. Like, hey, I want this. But he telling them why they can't have it or why it may not be successul for them. Even though
even a reality.
Yeah. Because they people be like, hey, why is he able to judge people? What gives him that level of clout to do that? I mean, anybody could do that. If you just be real with yourself and think objectively.
Absolutely.
So I wanna ask you something from a female perspective. So from a female perspective, what do you cherish more? Do you cherish honesty or respect?
Oh, that's a good one. I feel like if you respect me, you'll be honest with me. That's how I feel. I feel like it's hand in hand. I feel like it comes along with other. I feel like you can't have one without the other. Because I feel like you can lie to me and respect me. You ain't gotta call me no bitch, but you can look me in my eyes and tell me a lie. So I feel like respect.
Well, I could be brutally honest and don't respect you.
That's my point. That's why I said it comes hand in hand.
Yeah.
How about you, Earl?
I think they complement each other just like a left and right hand. I think that honesty and respect, you should get both. Like, ought to be honest, because if I can't trust you, but if you're not honest, then I can't trust you. So I won't respect that. So once the honesty is gone, the respect gonna be gone too, because
Yeah.
I can't respect you deceiving me. It's no different than if a woman was to commit infidelity with a man or something. I'm gonna just use a man as an example. He's gonna want to know what took place, why it happened. If you can't be honest with him, he's not gonna be able to respect it, because he's not gonna get no closure. He's gonna start. He's not gonna. Everything is gonna make him paranoid, because he gonna know what got by him, what he didn't see, what it could actually be. You can't just tell him because I wasn't happy. You know what? What was I doing that wasn't making you unhappy? That was making you unhappy. Because I believe too that, you know, you have some women out here that just fuck for the sport of it, but at the same time, no man can take your woman. You really relinquish her. It's something that you wasn't doing that allowed the door to be open for another man to come in. What if it wasn't? You wasn't giving her no affection, or you was putting her down, you know, verbally, just belittling the woman, or, you know what I'm saying, her self-esteem was shot because of the way you talked to her. So the only thing it took is for some man to come around and give her a nice little compliment or something. You know, and I believe that the devil already be knowing what shortcomings we have. So say if it was a guy, he complained that, man, my woman don't cook and she don't do this here. Only thing it'll take is for a woman to come across his path and say, you know, you're a good man. You just need a woman to good and cook you a nice meal. Right then and there, that's where the focus come in. And so now everything that the girl do pisses him off now. The way she chew her food, the way she shut the door. Now everything pisses him off, because somebody done already got his attention with what he would want to see being done. You know what I'm saying? So the minute that your focus start being on all of the negative things, your tolerance become a lot lower, your patience become a lot lower. The more options you have as a man, I think your tolerance and patience is a lot lower. You know what I'm saying? Because why would I take this from you when I have so many other people willing to do this? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like a woman, if her man don't even least buy her flowers. Like prime example, I don't really celebrate Valentine. And the lady I was with, I think she might have wanted to celebrate Valentine, but because she heard me speak about going back to overextending myself, because she heard the way I spoke about it, I used to make fun, calling it a pagan holiday and all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So she heard that, and don't get me wrong, it was Valentine's for her all throughout the year. You know what I'm saying? So I spoke on it, and she had like, she didn't care about Valentine. So right before the freeze happened either the day after Valentine last year or something. So she got up and she was like, I'm going to the store to get the kids something for the girl something for Valentine. I'm like, all right, you know. She come in and she slamming doors and shit, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm taking notice of it, and I'm just like, you know, I wrote it off. And so later on that night, she got into bed and she just told me, she said, I just find it, you know, a little messed up that you didn't even much give me no flowers, no card or nothing. I said, well, we never reverence Valentine as being nothing significant. You know what I'm saying? And me just thinking, you know, one thing now too, I'm learning to put things in a category of, this is just how women think and this is just how men think. Like I was reading that book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and it kind of helped point, like at first before I was mature enough to look at it like that, I just felt like it was a universal concept with everything. Like if you think that way, you got to be slow. Opposed to women just want to be reverenced a certain way. They want a certain amount of attention. They want to be acknowledged a certain way, and men might don't care to be acknowledged or reverenced that way, but they two different characters. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I told her, I said, well, so do you want me to just wait till like birthdays, Valentine, and Christmas to do something? Or because if that's the case, then you get some 3 times a year opposed to getting some throughout the year. And I say, so have you been like scrolling social media and like seeing other people get shit and you feel left out? You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me, communicate that with me. You know what I'm saying? And if you thought that you wanted to celebrate Valentine's Day, you should have been open enough to say that. Don't go with how I feel, because now we haven't celebrated Valentine for 3, 4, 5 years. Now all of a sudden, I don't know why you walking around with an attitude. Opposed if you would have just told me like, hey man, you know, I want to start celebrating Valentine. I like it. I think it's something about it that make me feel loved. And shit, I would have made sure to be on top of it, because that's yo man, that's my job to not leave the door open for another man to come behind me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I did it. I did experience, you know what I'm saying, not knowing. So I do believe in like overextending your hand can cause people to go with the flow of what you want opposed to what they want. I just made a post on Instagram and was saying that you should never sacrifice I and me for us and we. You know what I'm saying? Uh, just like if you create your LLC and everything, they always want to know like your articles of formation, articles of organization, and stuff like that. But now it's enclosed in one. You know, so I believe that I and me is enclosed in us and we. You ought to be able to be you and enjoy being you and be happy and also represent us and being who you are. That allow me to make an honest decision on if I want to be a part of that. You shouldn't have to kind of be no character or whatever just to be a part of us and we. That shouldn't consume you. You ought to still be an individual. You know what I'm saying?
Because see what you call it now too. That's a sign of low self-esteem. Because most time, if you have a certain level of self-esteem, you are not going to want that level of acceptance. So when you do meet people, or you do interact with folks, and they may not be on the same thing you want, you would be strong enough if you had a certain level of self-esteem to be like, hey, this not for me.
Yeah.
Or you could be adamant and say, hey, this is
This
what
is
I
what
like.
This is what I want.
Yeah.
So when you bypass that, and how would I put it? If you forfeit that in order to fit in a construct, and you truly not going to be happy within that construct, and you just doing this just to be accepted by a person, that's when you fail. I've seen people lose years of their life trying to fit into a construct. Then when they get tired of it, they go through a whole chapter of their life where they say, I'm free. And no disrespect, I seen women cut off all their hair and had nappy Florida Evans afros to show that freedom. When in actuality, the freedom was already there. All you had to do is just speak up on it. So I have another question. I'll start with you, Titi. So, is infidelity a deal breaker for you?
When I think about that, my initial answer in my mind is yes. But every relationship that I have been in and been cheated on, I accepted that person back a second time. But when I think about it and when I want to answer, I want to say no.
How about you, Earl?
I think my initial response would be to say no.
Right.
But women, number one, to me, is always going to be a little bit more emotionally mature than a man. They mature faster as youth, and emotionally they just a lot more. A woman can take more abuse than a man can.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So it's harder for a man to get over infidelity against him. The woman, she's not going to celebrate because you went out and cheated. But in her mind, it's a part of her kind of put in the category. Some men just don't have no control. Like, women sleep with men they have feelings for. That's what a man know. Like, you have to like him. You know what I'm saying? A man can just go fuck a hole in the ground. He don't care. It's no feelings or emotions attached to it. That's what the woman know. I think that's kind of like how she can get over it.
Because it depends on time, too, as well. But I just slept with her one time. But you've been seeing this chick for 2 months now?
And a man, I feel like, say if a woman cheated on a man and she was to go back to being honest and tell him what took place, a man will look at how did I contribute to this? You know what I'm saying? Did I actually relinquish control to another man because I mistreated? Or maybe this is just my karma. Maybe I slept around and had so many affairs or whatever, and this is just how it came back to me. You know what I'm saying? If he mature enough to accept his role in it, he can mentally get past it. But men, for whatever reason, when we think of infidelity or something like that, we so shallow, we think of it in a couple of categories. Either I didn't have enough money or the sex wasn't good enough. We don't really think that the way I talked to the lady could have contributed to this. To me not doing this. Like, once a woman see holes in a man's character, that will stop her from following a man. You know what I'm saying? If he didn't want to work, if he didn't want to pay bills, if he didn't want to do this. When she see you not being a man, she don't want to follow. It don't have nothing to do with love at this moment. You know what I'm saying? It don't have nothing to do with me loving you. now when you tell me something, she giving you like a strong rebuttal. It's real abrasive now. You know what I'm saying? And you think,
And
hold
then
on.
disrespect follows that.
Exactly.
Yep.
So to me, I think infidelity with men, when we think about it, it's a deal breaker with us because in our minds, like somebody conquered our territory. You know what I'm saying? Like if he could get my woman, what else he could have? You know what I'm saying? So it's a mental thing with a man. With a woman, they can get over it a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? But I think for the man to get over it, the woman have to be honest and tell him what contributed to it. She can't lie to him because if not, every day he's going to revisit this in his head and then it's going to get his emotions evolved and everything because it wasn't no closure for him because in his mind, like, what else I didn't see? What else she done did? What else done got by me? You know what I'm saying? So I think the woman have to be honest with the man if they are supposed to resolve it and give it another shot. Then she have to be honest. And even with the man, you can't just say, well, you wasn't giving me enough sex. Well, that's not so. Anytime now she gonna be thinking like, so anytime that you want some head and I don't do it, or that's going tomorrow I gotta look for you. You know what I'm saying? Going to do that. Like nobody don't want to walk on eggshells with shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to the honesty part. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's necessarily a deal breaker if a man know that. Yeah, man, I would have been a dirtbag, man. I done went and slept with this chick. I went and slept with this chick. So how did I expect the movie to play out? You know what I'm saying?
Because the way I look at it, I tell you like this. One of my older fellas I grew up around, rest in peace, Jarvis, he told me this probably when I was about 22, 23. He told me everybody gonna get their turn. So the woman don't belong to you. Everybody gonna get their turn. You determine how long your turn lasts. So I always look at it like, hey, if a person, have infidelity on their mind and they do it, that's cool. Whatever make them happy. But it's up to me if I want to deal with it or not. Because I've had situations where a woman cheated on me and I went and I still dealt with them. But I'm going to be true to it. I didn't deal with them the same way I did before.
Exactly.
Of course.
Because I probably handled them a way different. I never would give them the full heart like we did before. I might have gave them 40%. But then who wants to do that? So if it come to that point, you just have to be real with yourself. Like, hey, can I look past this? Or, hey, if I can't, let me go somewhere else.
Exactly.
Because it's probably about what? 20 billion people in the world?
7.
It's 7?
Yeah.
If it's 7 billion people in the world, why worry about 1?
And you only have 3 billion men and there's 4 billion women. So even if you paired 1 and 1 up, you still gonna have a billion women. What they supposed to do?
Right.
So yeah, I'm afraid. That's why I don't believe that necessarily. I believe that some people are made for polygamy. I don't believe that everybody is meant. A man can just be faithful to one woman. You know what I'm saying? Because Westerners here in our culture, this is just what we brought up to believe. You know what I'm saying? Or anything outside of this is something wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? But I do think some men have a design appetite that one woman just can't fulfill. And it's not about just sex by sex. Well, anytime a man think of polygamy, for the most part, think, ooh, I get 2 women at one time. That's all they thinking about. You know what I'm saying? But you have to learn how to have different relationships. You with this lady, them with themselves, y'all collectively. Like you juggling a lot. Like some dudes can barely juggle one relationship. I'm some dudes. You know what I'm saying? I'm some dudes. I can barely. The emotional strain of one relationship is enough. Can you imagine? I can't imagine 2. You know what I'm saying? I can't even much imagine diffusing they shit because I'm having a hard enough time juggling my shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about like I say, the mature side of the infidelity, you have to be able to be honest enough to say, like, if I can't get past something.
Honest with yourself.
You have to, because I believe that, I can forgive that person, but trust is for the trustworthy.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So if you broke the trust, like, I can't get with you. You know what I'm saying? I can't get with you. But maybe, you know what I'm saying? With men, it's like I said, it's always different. With women, they can take a lot more.
Most definitely. But at the same time, it depends on if the man is truly invested in that situation. Because like you said, men can be very immature, can just be there for the physical and not be there for the emotional. And then when you talked about polygamy, most people don't understand that you have to have that provider aspect in that whole situation too. So if you're not able to provide for one, how you gonna be able to provide for 2, 3? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that shit crazy. And I know my bankroll ain't strong enough for all that. Just
See what I'm saying? Because I'm like, look, I can do good with one.
Yeah.
Ladies, I can do good with one. But you gotta be the right type of one.
Yeah.
You gotta be the right type of one. We're gonna build it together. Because see, a lot of times, like in the dating pool or whatnot, I might go to like a little brunch spots. I like to go eat sometime. I eat healthily. And I sit there with my champagne and a woman will come by and they'd be like, hey, how you doing? This, that, and the other. And talking about, hey, I'm over here. Can you send us this, that, or send us this, that? I said, no, man, that's a privilege. If I'm truly invested, if I truly want to get to know you, yeah, that's a courtesy that I'll extend, but it's not a requisite. I'm not just gonna come off the top, just showering you with something just because you said that you want it. That's not the way that it goes. But I think the entitlement factor that a lot of people have, like it's expected for a man to do something, and also for a man to expect a woman to do something, I think that needs to be checked out as well.
I think that one of my dudes, I had asked a question about deal breakers or something one time on Instagram, and he said he was going through therapy. Him and his wife, they was going through a rough patch. He saw the thing that stuck out to me the most, man. The man said, man, I had to learn that my wife, I wasn't treating her as like my equal. He said, I felt like because she was my wife, she's supposed to do certain things. Like, she's supposed to cook. And on paper, that do look cool. That do look like, hey, you married my wife, you're supposed to do this here. But people do because they want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're not a slave. You're not forced to do anything. You know what I'm saying? So I think it needs to be workshops set up, believe it or not, especially with older men or mid-aged men, to help them unlearn some shit, because they got to be deprogrammed and reprogrammed. Like with my son Elijah, he's 10. So right now I'm stay engaged with him. I stay engaged with him about let's process emotions. Like with men, because you come up in a black community, the uncles or whoever, you don't supposed to be crying, boy. You don't supposed to do that. That's what women do, and this and that, and you showing emotion or you showing your feelings or whatever. That's acting like a little girl. Well, now they suppressing this. You know what I'm saying? So now you haven't showed them how to process embarrassment, shame, hurt. You know what I'm saying? So now they run around, they go to school and punch somebody in the face or something. So with my son, he's like a blank canvas, because all of the miseducation that was passed to me that I had to unlearn, it's not passed on to him. I'm teaching him fresh out the gate. There's nothing wrong if you like a little girl at school and you caught her kissing another little boy or something, your feelings with her. Come put it on the floor with your pops, man. We're going to process this shit. You know what I'm saying? So breaking down some of the cliches and miseducations or whatever, it needs to be workshops set up, because a man I'd rather say I'm pissed off before he ever say my feelings is hurt.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, pissed off is not an emotion. Explain that. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that kind of translates into why a woman would do certain shit, because she might ask me, hey, do you want to do this or do you want to work? Nah, bitch, I don't give a fuck. Do what you want to do. But really, he want to do the opposite. I want it to work, but your feelings is talking and not your brain.
Not your brain.
You know what I'm saying? And so now you trying to be hard, and you really done gave her the green light to go on and move in another direction, because you was just too hard to sit up and say, well, man, I do love you. You know what I'm saying? And when you do certain things, it do make me feel a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? So I think it need to be workshops, because I was doing a live with this chick, and so she was asking me about, do you think counseling should be involved? And I say, yeah, even outside of marriage. I say, whatever deacon, pastor, or whoever's supposed to facilitate the wedding and marry somebody, they're supposed to counsel them anyway.
Right.
To let them know, what's entailed with marriage, what's expected, and what's supposed to go on and everything. But I think even with just a committed relationship, it should be some counseling now, because there's some things. I think y'all need individual counseling. Then I think y'all need collective counseling. because a man might have been molested or something in his life and never shared that with this lady, and she never know why he just going to the store. He don't leave the kid here. They might have a blended family, but he never leave the son or the daughter there. He always taking them everywhere, and in her mind, she's personalizing this shit now because she don't know. He never disclosed this exactly. You know what I'm saying? But he done experienced some kind of trauma that he never unpacked and processed. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa with the woman. You know what I'm saying? She could be experiencing something. So I think have a little bit more open door policy with somebody like a therapist that can share it. They can share it with. That's going to be unbiased. That won't hold it over their head and use it as ammunition against them. Right. And then they need collective counseling. I think also. You know.
Because see, one thing I would tell you, like if you talk about counseling for marriages prior to with the pastor that'll be marrying them. Sometimes that ain't good either. Because sometimes the pastor might have a little bit of bias. Unfortunately, that wasn't my case, but I could see how that could possibly happen. And then also, too, you never show your true self because in the black community, we revere pastors and clergy so high that we'll never tell the wholehearted truth to them. What I've seen through my own experiences with therapy, when I got somebody that's totally outside of my culture, when I got I actually had a white woman. Shout out to Agnes Kelly. She was our therapist last year around this time. And she helped me break through with a lot. And she did not judge. What she did do, she did hold me accountable. So that's the main thing. Main thing is accountability because we can always say, oh, I effed up or this, that, and the other. But what are you going to do to fix it? Right? Because that's the accountability factor because you got to take ownership of it and move forward. We can always say that we're messed up because that's just the way we are. Or something happened to us in our past because our parents did this to us. Or it was a situation, but we have to go beyond that. We got to be better people. And I think that's what kind of scars people on dating as well. Because it's so much that go on. Like a friend of mine, she told me about women have this group. And they talk about the things they go through with men, right? And I mean, it's some heinous stuff that I've heard on there. Like a woman said that she felt that she was, not up to par or not at the level that she wanted to be with this man. So she was doing things in order to get him. And it was repulsive things that she was doing to get him and keep him. But then she just gave up because she said, I just can't do this. So why even put yourself in a situation like that? So I agree with Earl. It's a lot of things that we have to unlearn, but also we got to build each other up and not use social media for that. Like don't go on social media and build a facade of yourself and say, oh, I'm at the Galleria. I got this Dior. I got this, that, and the other. When you're struggling, just say, I want to live a better life. Yeah, you can go travel. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You work hard. You should be able to celebrate, celebrate. But at the same time, don't put yourself in a crossroads where you can't have nothing for the future. Because it'd be a lot of times like, okay, I'm 40. It'd be a lot of times I see women, they be almost at the end of their 30s, going in the 40s. They ain't got nothing saved. They ain't never owned nothing. But yet, they got everything brand new. Everything like Dior bags, Balenciagas. I want a Birkin. The Birkin might not be real, but they gonna go get the best knockoff possible. Louis Vuitton. They got their hair dip. They living the whole lifestyle. And I'm like, why? And then you expect for a man that appear with that image at a certain level, like if he pulling up in a Maserati or Rolls Royce, that you want that Prince fella to come get you,
but don't have $5,000 saved up.
Right? But how you think it's gonna turn out? Because that man not looking for you. That man looking for somebody who of his equal, equally yoked. So I'm flabbergasted. I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, I wish I could be saved.
No, man. I think, but see, this is what I believe. I think going back to the being honest, you have to be honest with yourself and find people that match your rhythm, man.
Right.
Because if you don't find somebody that match your rhythm that you not in harmony with, it's going to disrupt your vibrations.
Oh yeah.
It's going to cause both of y'all to always be in opposition with each other. Water and oil, oil and water is two of the highest resources that we have that's in demand, but they just don't mix. But you don't see water telling oil that he or she is inferior because we don't gel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I do believe finding somebody, being honest. Like I was giving an example with my buddy. I say, I see guys who walk up, and I think it's immature. I think it's clown shit. But I know guys who will walk up to another guy like, "What's up, old bitch ass nigga? What you was doing last night?" Like, me and my dudes don't dialogue with each other like that. So to me, now in a circle of guys, that's how they talk. You know what I'm saying? They match each other rhythm. They in harmony. The minute that I encounter somebody like that, we automatically in opposition with each other. I'm going to stop you right there, though. I don't believe in kind of letting shit fester, you know what I'm saying? Because people will take you being silent and mute for being naive or gullible, and I ain't going to let you piss on me and tell me it's rain, you know what I'm saying? So I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to come from a place of love unless you don't receive it, you know what I'm saying? When I stop, hey, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't do all that, fam. So when you address me, address me like a player. You know what I'm saying? And when you don't, nigga, you all sensitive about. Now, me being abrasive coming next. You know what I'm saying? Because I tried to handle it from a place of love. So I do believe that finding people who match your rhythm, even with going out, like it's some places that you might go. If you had tickets to the opera, somebody gave you tickets to the opera. You can have 10 tickets. Everybody who in your family or who you friend with not going to get an invitation because some people just don't know what's going to be expected. And I don't have time to raise you neither.
Exactly.
You'll be down there, operas and stuff like that, stage plays. This might be a quiet setting. You'll have somebody leaning on, hey, nigga, you see that, mother? I don't got time to be embarrassed, nigga. You making me look bad. You know what I'm saying?
It's not getting the ticket.
You'll get invited somewhere, just won't be here. You know what I'm saying? It might cause for you to give up too much of yourself, and that's the price of admission that's too expensive for you to pay. I'm not gonna ask you to do it. You know what I'm saying? So it's some times that we have to be smart enough for us and other people to know when they just don't match our rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to put you in a position where you feel like you're walking on eggshells, you being somebody you not, because what's required of you, I'm not going to dumb down. You got to come up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to mute who I am, just fit into your world or your ego or something like that. But you will say if we was going to a little bar or something, a little shit kicker rally or something, you might be the first motherfucker I call. But if it's some upper echelon prestigious shit, no, you're not going to be him. I got dudes for that, though. You know what I'm saying? So even with a woman, you got to know when I like her in the physical, we cool. The sex might be good and everything. But what I'm looking for as something exclusive, as somebody to bring around my kids, she just don't match my rhythm. You know what I'm saying? And I would never ask you, like my daughter, I tell her she's 23 and she like to date older guys. I say, you got to learn how to put some conversations on the flow, direct but indirect with men, because you like dating men that's possibly 10 years older than you. You 23, you ought to be able to go to the pool parties and all of that and be able to twerk, shake your ass and do all of that shit without feeling like you got to give that up because he done outgrew that shit. And as men, we don't want other men seeing our lady in a certain light. You know what I'm saying? But it's nothing wrong with that, what you doing. That's age appropriate for your age. You know what I'm saying? So you have some men, I told her, I said, you might let a guy come stay at your house. He got a key to your house. And you 23, you ought to be able to go to the club, leave the club, go to the strip club, leave the strip club, go to the after hours if you want to. That might cause you to walk in the door at 5 o'clock. If you dart that door and allow a man to start chastising you verbally or whatever about where you been, you shouldn't have to make up, well, Keisha had to go pick up her kid and then what's it? You shouldn't have to explain that shit. Before you shut the door, nigga, you can get on the other side of this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not fit to be explaining all that. It's not me standing trial for this shit. You know what I'm saying? The little money you help out with the light bill and shit, we fucking, nigga, you supposed to do that. That's the bare minimum, nigga, you supposed to do. You eat hot chips and shit that's in there that I bought for my motherfucking Takis and shit. You eating pizza pockets and shit that I bought. Nigga, you ought to be able to suck enough air jumping up and down in my pussy. You ought to be able to do this. You know what I'm saying? That you don't. That's not you helping out. Is not a down payment and giving you a say so into my life. So
Right.
before I close the door, you can get on the other side of this bitch. You know what I'm saying? You got to stop people right there. You got to stop it before it ever get going, because it's all about how you start out with people, with dogs, with horses, with kids, with anybody. You imprint and impact from the words say go. You know what I'm saying? So knowing that that person don't match your rhythm. If you might want to wear certain stuff, if a man get to telling you like, why you got your cleavage showing or whatever? Because me personally, I don't think there's nothing wrong with cleavage showing or whatever. I think it's sex appeal. You know what I'm saying? But if a man start trying to critique that, you gotta already know you don't want to send the wrong message, because the minute I let him critique that a little bit, what else is he? Is that the start to
that's
some perpetual shit?
start.
Now he's saying something about my pants. Now he's saying something about my skirt. Now he's saying something about my hair.
But see, most of that shit be insecurity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they scared. They think somebody gonna get them. And then on top of that, people want to live up to these traditions that are out there.
That old
right?
Cro-Magnon shit.
Like, I want my whoop look like Little House on the Prairie.
Everybody ain't able to deal with, if they want to call it a bad bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They can't accept or deal with the tension that she automatically draw naturally. Now that's different than a woman doing something to draw attention on herself. Some women just pretty, they got a nice shape, they wear sexy outfits or whatever. And so it just, when she come out, that's what she draws is attention. And so they feel insecure with that. Just like, but I feel like once again, if she match your rhythm, if you know where she stand morally, you know what I'm saying, character wise, some shit you don't have to worry about. You ain't never caught her fraternizing, and you know what I'm saying, in the wrong way. Some shit you don't have to worry about. So that speaks about you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes too, I think guilt. You know, some dudes can be doing their own shit and they project, or woman, and they project their guilt onto the next person. They look for what they doing or done did to be coming from you. Like if you'll find somebody talking behind your back or saying something negative about you or something to somebody else, and so now when you come around, you wonder why they so defensive and on the fence and on the edge about shit. They don't know if you know. It's the guilt that's causing them to kind of, you know what I'm saying, act a certain way. So, you know, you'll have a person that they cheaters or whatever. I call them serial cheaters. And so now they looking for it to come back on them. So now when you go out, what you doing? And you wonder, where the fuck this shit came from? It ain't have nothing to do with you. It's them. They guilt is driving them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I think, like I say, just go back. You got to find somebody to match your rhythm, man.
So I got a question for you, Titi, and this one that been troubling me.
Okay.
So why do most women have so many brothers that are not blood brothers?
Well, I can't speak for all women or even most, because I don't have any brothers outside of my brothers, my blood brothers.
Yeah.
Same mama, same dad.
But I'm just saying, what would possibly be the reason? I'm just asking from a female perspective.
What I think it is sometimes when people are in relationships, they want to keep their male friends around. So they say, oh, this is my brother. Even though it's not. You just don't want to lose this friend, this male friend, because you feel like your man is going to say, well, who was this nigga? Where you know this nigga from? Like, so to avoid that conversation of this is just my male friend and that's it.
Yeah.
They say, oh, it's my brother. Because men ain't going to say, oh, well, she ain't fucking her brother. They ain't going to think that.
Because I seen it where a woman go through the whole club, half of them her brothers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They are brothers.
Yeah, they are brothers. You know, we are brothers and sisters in Christ. But I don't know. The reason why I asked that is because, like, people use certain terminologies and titles, just like how you broke it down, as shell tactics, so to speak.
True.
Some dudes will say, that's like my sister. But all the while, then been romantically with the woman before. Got a pass with the woman. They're not doing nothing right now. They just cool, but it could happen again.
It could happen again, right?
Could happen again.
Right. So that's another sidecar to a relationship too. Because you never know. Because all the people that they say, oh, we got good friends and this, that, and that, my brother, you never know. They might be the one in your house at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't do all that. Man, Lady, we won't do that.
Yeah, it's too
I
much.
know all your brothers,
Mhm.
bitch. So don't even
That's
play
why I
with
say
me.
I got
Don't even
I
play with me. Don't
say
even
it.
introduce no nigga to me ever. Don't play
As a
with me like
brother.
that. With that, because at the same time now we gonna have a real conflict if I did find out y'all used to fuck around or fucked around later on.
Because it's gonna come out.
Yeah, it's gonna come out. So even if you
It's
had
gonna
any
come
history with somebody or whatnot, definitely don't introduce me as introduce them as your brother. You know what I'm saying? Because I know none of that shit.
None
you
of
know
it.
what I'm saying? Like, it's no reason for it to
Oh,
ever
it's
be
like
an
my
introduction. Period. You know what I'm saying? Like, now same thing with the guy.
Mhm.
I ain't never invited introduced nobody as my sisters. You know, I done told my lady, like, hey, this my friend or whatever.
Mhm.
I love her like a sister. But I ain't never say, oh, this my sis, or I don't much call motherfuckers sis, cousin, none of that. And we got a big family, but these motherfuckers ain't it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no, we ain't gonna do all that.
Nah, because I mean that already sows seeds of discord. Because when you dealing with people, you know, and then something happen, and then they say, "I knew that's what it was."
It's
It just
gonna come out.
So, TT, I asked you this question. This probably the last one.
Okay.
What was your worst experience through a bad breakup?
My worst experience through a bad breakup. My worst experience. Physically, emotionally.
Period. You choose.
My worst experience was
You want to say you want to.
okay. Can I say what I learned from it? From that relationship, I learned that you really have to take people for who they show you they are. Because they're going to show you, they reveal themselves. Take it. Take it for what it is. Open your eyes. Don't ever be a fool. Love is not blind. It ain't blind. They showing you exactly who they are.
You were.
Oh man, people already know, man. I love to be transparent because I feel like you can't help nobody without being transparent. So I think my worst breakup, the part that I learned was that I was mean at some point. You know, we never want to really deal with the truth. I know as a man, I must make an I statement, me. You know, especially coming from somebody who you possibly basically raised and molded. You know what I'm saying? Because even though the mentor shouldn't feel like he above reproach, it's still having to deal with some truths up with yourself. It's kind of hard to deal with. You know what I'm saying? To even much deal with it. Maybe I was a little controlling in the midst of it. Like, it's kind of like being too close to the picture. You can't really see it. But once you kind of step back, you can kind of really kick it around in your head and spend some time with it. And you kind of like really see that what she said was some truth in it. That I could be controlling. And I spoke with my lady before and I was telling her that trying to be controlling wasn't the whole initial thing. Like, it was a 10-year age gap between us. So coming into it, it was some things that she just didn't do automatically. Like, she wasn't big with cleaning or cooking or certain stuff, or even with, you get a young girl, 23, 24, whatever, they might not be engaged with their kids like they should. So me, I wasn't going for that shit. Like, where your kids at? Man, here, you go somewhere, you better go get them kids, man, take them kids, whoop, whoop. So I'm having to take control. I'm having to
lead,
narrate some shit. And so I think as she grew, I didn't see her. And I got stuck in one gear of controlling everything. So, and not being a big communicator, if she wasn't a big communicator, now I'm just taking it as this is just my job. I'm have the danger spot for you everything. And not saying that she actually grew into being able to think for herself. And so now it's coming across as, me trying to control, even with using anger as control sometime, or shame, like knowing your history, knowing where you come from. So if I ever felt like I was losing control of something, boom, I come in and tower in with this to kind of humble you. And that shouldn't be my place to humble no motherfucker.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Using your past or whatever to shut you down to gain control again. You know what I'm saying? But you just, as a man, you feel like it's some things that if you feel like you losing, like some guys might get physically abusive because they talking to a woman and getting a response that they want, or she's doing something they don't want, so they don't know nothing else to do. So this is the way they respond. So I think I learned from my worst thing that truth that I didn't want to face about myself, even though it wasn't intentional. It wasn't mapped out like that. It just evolved into some shit, and especially right there in the midst of it, like I say, dealing with somebody you done actually possibly raised and molded, and they have to hear it from them.
Mm-hmm.
But when you spend time with it, you hear how they say, like, you could say things that made me feel low. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you'll never go into a relationship doing that or saying that, trying to be that. I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, going into that, or even feeling like when to admit that if finances got tight, you know what I'm saying, as a man feeling inadequate, it makes him a little insecure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Some men might be too hard to say that, but I feel like you can't provide and protect, because if I can't protect our home because I can't provide for it or something like that, yeah, I am overprotective. I am territorial about you going out and doing something because I might be in fear, like I don't want somebody else to come in and swoop you because I can't do things that a man's supposed to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Self-preservation is man's natural instinct, so we have an instinct to provide. And if I'm not financially stable, I feel a little insecure. My confidence is a little low. So even though money kind of provides some false sense of security, it also provides a layer of protection, we think, in our mind. Because how many people you think, the athletes, you think, how many of them you really think worried about losing a woman? You think Jay-Z wake up worrying about somebody taking his?
Nope.
You know, when you worth $1 billion, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, just
Well, I know Jeff Bezos, he was worried.
yeah. Yeah, you have exceptions to the rule. Don't get me wrong. You do have
Paul
exceptions.
McCartney, I know he was worried.
Yeah.
She limped away. But but just to chime in on this, and this wasn't even the most recent, but I'd say my worst experience was, and I was the author of my own pain on this point. I had a girlfriend at one time. My mother seen her kiss another woman, and I thought I could help bring her back to the straight world. And I went through a whole long time trying to do that, and it ain't never worked. And she went even further on the other side. So whenever you see the red flags, people accept them red flags. And
once
if
they
them
show you who they are,
look and look, you know you can't change nobody. Time, God, circumstance may change people, but you personally, you don't worry about things that you can't control. So what we're gonna do now? So Titi, could you tell the people your social media and how they can get in contact with you?
You can find me on social media, all platforms the same, Miss Titi Marie. That's Instagram and Facebook, Miss Titi Marie.
Okay. And Earl.
Yeah, I just have one Instagram, man. Russian Hitman 1. That's the only one. Yeah.
Now I want to thank the both of y'all for coming
Oh
today
man, I
and
appreciate
having a
you, brother, for sure. No doubt, my dude.
Yes. Because these two are my favorite people. I swear to God, like whenever I'm on social media and I'm watching things, I'm going to tune on to him because he got the right type of perspective. And even out in the streets, when I see him, he's the right type of brother. And for TT, like I know I met you somewhere because you do poetry too. And I be at little poetry spots doing comedy.
Yeah, we just was at the Improv last night.
Yeah, you be with the good sister Black Sheep.
Oh yeah, that's my girl.
Yeah. Nah, that's my sister.
Okay.
But anyway. But yeah, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. But when we return, we'll have our parting shots and we'll be done. but you're not tuned in with Unbiased with Ken Mills on Boss Up Houston Network.
At Lowe's, spring is a season of possibilities, a time for growth, and a time for a fresh trim. It's where new projects begin, and curb appeal takes on new meaning. Stop by Lowe's first annual Spring Fest before the fun and savings for your garden and total home are gone. Home to any budget.
Doing it yourself doesn't have to mean all by yourself. With the Home Depot as your partner, doing's never been easier. You can pick up skills in a virtual workshop. Pick up what you need fast or have it delivered same day. And if you have more projects than you have time to do them, we can even help with that. This is doing like never before. This is the Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Now, you did view tonight Love, Marriage, and Divorce 2022. We talked about relationships. We broke down everything. All the different facets of dating and relationships that we see right now. So now, like we always do, we have a personal monologue afterward. So like I said at the beginning, I underwent my own situation. Matter of fact, it was happening without you guys even knowing. This all began probably about last year around November. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm a perfect person. I'm not. Sometimes, hey, I'm a very driven person. I can be a little bit ornery in the mornings. I may can say things that may not just fit too well, but hey, you know, they may not warrant what I receive. But at the end of the day, I accept the accountability and I take ownership of my own actions. So just to make a long story short, me and my ex-wife did part ways. You know, I wish I could say I didn't hold no bad feelings. I do. I'm not bitter. I'm not upset either. It's just that I hate the way that things turned out. So my moral of the story and what I want to share with everyone is this. Never judge a book by the cover. So many of you have seen what we've been able to do throughout the pandemic and also throughout our marriage. And you saw the pictures and you said, hey, this is a union that I really enjoy. This is the type of marriage I want. But you didn't see the back. You didn't see the back view. And you didn't know about what was going on. Hell, most of y'all didn't know what was going on because I didn't tell you. But unfortunately, the other person did. So we're going to keep it like that. But for the most part, the divorce should be final. You know, I did orchestrate that. I did put that into motion. I did take the financial responsibility of getting that into motion. But unfortunately, the other party has not signed. Well, they did sign, but rescinded. So this is my request, or this is my ask for everybody out here. I want to live a free life just like the other person want to live a free life. And they're actually already doing. They've already moved on. They live in a great life. While I have to bear the brunt of the burden. If you want to see me free, I'm not saying that, you know, woe is me or anything like that. But if you truly enjoy what I do here and you want to see me away from any shackles or any constraint of being in a position that I should not be in, I need y'all to do this. On this page or on this viewing, what I'd like for you to do is go hashtag free MILLS. Hashtag free MILLS. What that means is hashtag free meals. Y'all love meals, let me be free. I'm trying to be honest here. I'm trying to be transparent because I love you all and I don't want y'all to be like trying to piece things together, look at my finger and wonder what happened. Hey, It was supposed to end amicably, but unfortunately it did not. I mean, I don't have too much negative to say about the other person, other than I wish them the best in their endeavors, and whomever they with, and whatever go on. I wish they wish me the same. But I wish they do the right thing and go ahead and sign them papers, because I'm tired of talking about them, and I'm tired of talking about the subject. But next week we'll be here with another great episode. I'll see y'all then. Ken Mills here with Unbiased on Boss Up Houston Network. Hello family, Ken Mills here once again with World of Comedy 5 Entertainment. So to give you the idea of what Unbiased is, we always see things on social media and also in the world where we wonder what is the thought process behind these idiotic things that people do. We're going to give an honest, unbiased opinion. So with that being said, we're going to cover several different topics. These topics will start from mental health, addiction, finance, incarceration, relationships. We're going to be truly unbiased this season. So remember, tune in at 8 p.m. Check us out on Boss Up Houston Network.